All right, now that the recording is going, again, your experience with Word and hobby gears. So my experience with Word is I use it for note taking all the time. I use it for web programming, just to take notes. And then a hobby of mine is skateboarding, and then I can actually show you a little thing of mine. So this is my web programming notes. I have a lot of pages, but basically Word is very useful. So that way I can get the commands in and then I can just format it how I want. So I have like HTML boilerplate and then I can do stuff like this. It's just very useful to have. And then, yeah, my hobby would be skateboarding. I can't remember if I mentioned it, but yeah, Paul, what's your
My hobbies are that I like to write a lot. I like creative writing. I also like biking. I like fishing. I picked up my fly fishing hobby too, so I'm learning how to do that too as well.
Okay, nice.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So my experience of Word, I'm very versed in it.
All right. All right, so I'm also gonna put the PDF of my user reference guide in the chat, so that way someone comes by, they'll have it. Just in case someone's missing it. And yeah, so I'm gonna start right now. In this training, I'll show you how to do proper documentation to make a document used for note-taking and training purposes. This training will cover note-taking, formatting in Microsoft Word, and printing the PDF. All right, so to begin, we are going to open up Microsoft Word. So we're gonna go to the search bar in your Windows. And you should already have the desktop version installed. I'm just gonna go over how to open it. So I'm gonna go Word. And then we're gonna open it up. And then you should see a screen like this. Do a thumbs up if you see it. Okay. So now we're going to create a blank document because that's what we're going to be using today. So over here, you'll see new, welcome to Word, all this stuff. We're just going to click the blank document. And then we're going to be saving it to your OneDrive, which is basically the cloud. And to do this, you would hit File, Save As. And then over here, you would hit OneDrive. If you need a login, I can help you with that, but it should be right there. We're not going to save it to your PC because we're just going to go over this way for now. And then what I'm going to name this is, let's go with guide. Oops. You can name it whatever you want, just as long as you save it to your OneDrive, because you're gonna be following my steps. So I'm gonna save it. Then after you save it, this auto save button will go on right here. See how that's blue? And do a thumbs up once you're there. All right. So for the guidelines today, we are going to be making a header, footer. We're going to have a name, date, table of contents, and then we're going to make sure the pages are numbered. That's going to be the guidelines for this document. Like I wouldn't go over specific note taking because everyone has a different way to note taking. I just want to format the page so that way it looks good because there's going to be so many ways to note taking. It's going to be hard to cover it. Okay, so first we're gonna explore the ribbon and what it is. The ribbon is a set of toolbars in Microsoft Word. They're designed to help you navigate. And this is what the ribbon is right here. It's this whole thing right here. And there's a series of tabs that help you accomplish this. And these tabs can be the Home tab, the Insert tab, Draw, Design. Just all of these are very useful to have. And then before we begin, we are going to be making sure we have the ruler selected. So what the ruler is it basically helps you align stuff on a page, and I'm going to be going over that quick, and then I'll show you how to do that. So to do that, you go to the View tab, which is right here. And then you're going to be clicking this box right here, which is a ruler. And as you can see here, it will make a ruler there. So for example, if I wanted to put this at 1 inch, it moved there, but I'm not going to do that for now. It basically just helps you align. If you want to do like hanging indents, stuff like that, it will help you accomplish this. And then now we're going to be creating a header and footer, which will repeat the information on the page. So the header would be up here at the top. And then the footer will be at the bottom. To do this, we are going to go to the insert tab. And we are going to be clicking header. We're going to be clicking blank. And here we are going to be typing our name, last name. So for mine, it would be Clements. And then we are also going to do page numbering because it's good to number your pages so that way you are able to track where you are. And page numbering is under this new tab, which is header and footer. So for example, if I were to click off of it, it wouldn't show up. But if I click back in the header section, this new tab will pop up, which is very useful. So that way, just stuff pops up. If you have like a table or something, this new bar tab right here will pop up. And then I'm going to be clicking page numbering, current position, and 1. So now what this will do is this will copy this if I were to make a new page. So I'm gonna make a new page quick. So for example, just kidding. I'll talk about this in a little bit, but you see how that new page is right there? It's numbered Clements 2. It's just repeating the information, but since we did page numbering, it's going to be counting off that information by each page.
How many pages do you think a Word document can be?
I honestly don't know. I haven't reached the limit yet. I'm sure there might be a limit, but I haven't reached that yet. Okay. And then we're also going to be creating a footer.
There's no official.
Okay, there's no official one. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, we're going to be creating a footer. And we're going to be choosing the blank option, which is, and this is under the insert tab right here. Insert, oops. Insert, footer, blank. Oops. And then I'm going to be naming this training. You can also name it training since we're getting trained. And then I'm going to put this to the center of the page. So how to align it to the center, there's multiple ways to do this. I'm just going to do a quick and easy one. But under the home tab right here, it like next to the paragraph group, which paragraph right here, it starts here, ends there. I can use center, and then it'll be centered on the page now. And I'm going to click off. And as you can see here on the next page, it's also there. I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit so you can see it better. So Clements 1, training, and then Clements 2, and then training. Okay. So if you're to that point, just do a thumbs up, or you can type in the chat. Okay, thumbs up, nice. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about paragraph marks and how useful they are. Paragraph marks show every little hidden format, and it's useful to see page breaks, and they just show every space, every hidden like format. So that way you can like detect everything. So for example, if I had, oops. For example, if I were like, why is it there? I will go to, zoom back in. Just didn't like how that looked. You will click under the home tab, under the paragraph group, which is this right here. This is what the paragraph mark is. It's right here, this little backwards P. And as you can see here, it's tracking every little thing I do. So if I were to do like one space, it's just going to be a dot, dot, dot. So it's very useful to see formatting and stuff like that. And I'm going to remove this page break because we didn't talk about that. But now I'm going to be creating one. So
Why do we do page breaks? That's the
page
question.
breaks are very useful if you want to like add or subtract information. So I'll go back to my other example. Just give me one moment. So this is my setup document. I have a page break here. So that way, if I want to add more information, for example, I just keep going. And then let's say the table of contents, which this is what I made right here, table of contents right there. I did a whole table of contents. And then if I have like a whole bunch right here, and then I wanted to end at the table of contents and I want to add other stuff, it will stop the page there. And then it'll create a whole another section. So basically it's just cutting the page off.
Yeah.
So that way, if you want to add stuff or take away stuff, you can just do it that way. That way you don't have to like press enter a bunch of times because that would get very tedious. And that's why page breaks are very important.
Do you think that Word is kind of like a lost format? You think that you can utilize a lot of things in Word that people don't know about?
Yeah, you can definitely utilize a lot of things that people don't know about. And then, to see the page break, obviously you would hit, well, not obviously, you would click this little backwards PD under the paragraph, under the home tab, it's right here, paragraph markers, and then normally you wouldn't be able to see the page breaks, but since we have the paragraph marker selected, you would go under layout. And then under breaks right here, you would do page because that's the only one we're going to be messing with this. There's a whole different bunch of them, but we're just going to be using page for now. And yeah, this is what the page break will look like. And then if I turn off the paragraph markers, you wouldn't be able to see it. But that's why paragraph markers are useful because then you can see page breaks and stuff like that. Okay, now we are going to be navigating some word features. So do you have any questions right now?
No.
So first, we're going to be changing the font. It can be done one of two ways. One, that's how, but so one, you can manually do it, and you can go under the font group, which is right here, and you can just type in the font you want. So I want Times New Roman, and then it'll go in. Or what you could do is do the drop down arrow. And then you can select the font and then it'll change it to that. But I'm going to select Times New Roman because that's one of my favorites. And you can choose basically whatever font you want. I'm not really picky. It's just good to be consistent because that's good note taking skills is to be consistent. You can change the size of it. So if I want it size 12 or 14 or 16, you see how that P is getting bigger. It'll just change the size of it. So I'm going to select 12. And then, yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff you could do here. You can make it bold. So if I wanted to do, so if I wanted it bold, so now it's bold, as you can see. And then if I want to unbold it, I would just uncheck it. You just go home and uncheck bold. So I uncheck bold, and now it's not bold anymore. You can make it underlined. Just a whole bunch of stuff. That's how powerful Word is. See how it's like underlined now?
Kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very useful. I typed in after you said that. That was funny. Yeah. Then the other way to change the font is to do the little font button there. So under the home tab, font grouping, there are these little options here. It's not just under the font, there's like all over. These will give you more options of what you can choose from. So after I click that button, I'm going to do it one more time so you can see home, and then this little button right here, which will give you more options. Press that. And then afterwards, this window will appear. This window is very nice because it'll actually show what the font will look like. So if I were to choose this text or some random text, so we'll give like a preview, like Trade Gothic text or whatever I want, basically. We'll just give a preview of it, which is really nice. I'm gonna go back to Times New Roman because that's my favorite. You can choose whatever text out font you want. Regular, you can change the size here too. So if I want it bigger, it'll also change it down there. And yeah, you can see that. And then you can also make this the default text. So like every time, so I'm gonna press default because, well, you don't have to, but it's just good to know. Basically, if you have your settings lined up and you don't want to change them for like every document, you can press this for default. And then Microsoft Word will have this window pop up. Do you want to set this to default to Times New Roman 12 for this document only, or all documents based on the normal template? And I'm going to do this document only. So now now it'll be times New Roman. So like every time I go in, it'll be times New Roman unless I change it. Oh yeah, I also forgot to go over line spacing, so I'm gonna go back. Well, line spacing, there's two ways to do this, because in Word, Microsoft Word, there are multiple ways to do stuff in here. Because it's just such a powerful device. So under the Home tab, the paragraph group, we have this button right here, which is line and spacing. I'm gonna click 2.0, and as you can see here, it spaced it out to 2.0. Then I'm just gonna click the more option again. And that was under home, paragraph group. And then the more option, and then to change it, you would go. We are gonna choose double because that's what I want. So you can make it single, 1.5, double. You just have a lot of options to choose from. And I'm gonna click OK. And then the other way to change the line spacing is from fonts. Thought there was a way. Okay, that was my mistake. I thought there was a way to change it from the font, but I guess not. But okay, so anyway, moving on. We will go over bullet and numbering. To make bullet points, go under the home tab. And then click this right here, bullets. So as you can see, I'm gonna just remove this quick. As you can see, it made a bullet point. So I'm gonna do I is oops. So it just makes bullet points, which is very useful. And then if you want to style out those bullet points, you go to the home tab, you click the drop down arrow, and then it'll give you a bunch of different options. So if I wanted to like circle or arrows, it would just do that under there. Or if I wanted it numbered in the paragraph group, you just click the numbering option, and now be 1, 2, 3. And if you click it or unclick it, so if I were to like have it right here and then click it again, it'll undo the bullet points numbering there. And there's just a whole bunch of options you can use for formatting, but I'm just gonna leave it there for now. And then, you have any questions right now? Okay.
This is a very helpful tool that we do during our training sessions when we do our documentation.
Yeah, that's kind of how I learned about this, is from documenting. I just like played around with Word a lot, and that's how I learned about inserting bookmarks, which I'm going to be going over. So to insert a bookmark, it will go to a specific location in the document, which will make it easier to navigate. So to do this, you go to the Insert tab, and then you will click Bookmark. Oops. I don't know why that keeps disappearing. Just give me one moment. Insert, and then under the links grouping, so right here, Bookmark. So I'm going to name it, oh wait, actually, I messed up. Okay. So bookmarks are very useful because they link to stuff. I just got ahead of myself, which was my mistake. So I'm actually gonna go to the second page, to demonstrate this. I'm gonna call this bookmark just for, and then I'm gonna add another page right to demonstrate the usefulness of bookmarks. So I'm gonna do, let's call this Jack. So I like Jack. Okay. So to do bookmarks, again, I go to the Insert tab. I go to right here, which is Bookmark. Now, it's very important to have good naming conventions when bookmarking it. I would either name it like the name of what you're bookmarking, or like titles, stuff like that, or like heading. I wouldn't do like words. Like if you have like a big sentence, I wouldn't do like specific words unless it's like something very important, because it can get very messy, and I will show you my web programming setup document in a moment. I'm just gonna name this quick. So bookmark, for the bookmark name, I would just call it the name of what it is. So this is Jack. So I have Jack bookmarked, and then I have this. So it's bookmark, and you go to the Insert tab, then Bookmark. And then right here on the bookmark name, I'm just gonna call it bookmark. Now you don't have to name it exactly what the name is. That's just my personal preference. So that way I can find it on the page. And then if I wanted to like remove it and stuff like that, but we'll go over that in a second. So over here, imagine this is your table of contents, which you can make later, but I'll show you one later. We don't necessarily have to make one, but we are actually going to link those bookmarks. So for example, hi could be, so to link it, you would go on the insert tab, then in the link groups, you would click link, and then this window will pop up. Do you see that window? Can you give me a thumbs up? All right. So in this window, it'll pop up like this. You go place in this document. And as you can see, I have two bookmarks here, bookmark and Jack. So I'm going to make hi link to this bookmark. And normally I would just have the name of it. So like bookmark and bookmark would be like the same part. So that way it's easier to identify. Or you could like have it whatever way you want. I'm just naming it different so that way you can see that it'll still link to there. And then I am going to highlight James, press insert, then link. And I'm going to be using Jack for James. And I'm just doing it this way so that way you can see what happens when you don't label your bookmarks or use good naming conventions, because otherwise it just gets very messy. So for example, imagine you have like a big paper, big essay, like, and then like these are your titles, but you have the titles named different. So to use bookmarks, you would hold Control, and then this little pointer will pop up. So I'm going to go to the first one, which is hi. But oh, look, hi goes to bookmark. Doesn't make sense. And then if I go to the second one, which is James, it goes to Jack, which doesn't make sense because it says bookmark. So it's just good to have good naming conventions. And yeah, I'll show you my setup document once again. So so I made a table of contents, and all of these are the same name. So if I go to insert, I mean, not insert, but like, so if I go to bookmarks, I have all these bookmarks right here. I have anchor element, attributes, attribute selector, cascade, class selector, and avoid elements. I just have all these bookmarks. So if I were to hold Control, tag versus element, I were to click that, it goes to tag versus element on the page. So as you can see, it's just the same name. So it makes it very easy to see. So global attributes go to global attributes. That way it's like easier to identify it. And then if I would go to Cascade, it goes to Cascade, which is page 36. So it can go really far out as long as you bookmark it.
It's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is cool.
I like this a lot. I've done it before in the past.
Yeah, that's very useful. That's how useful bookmarks are. Yeah, so now going back to I'm going to be changing the text color. And the reason why I'm not going to be highlighting it is because number one, when you print, like black and white, for example, if I were to highlight, so under the home tab, you could highlight it using the highlighter, which is under the font group area. And this is the highlight. It makes it yellow. Oops, I'll just put this out in a second. Give me one moment. And you see, I guess we'll do it like that. So you see how it makes like a big yellow thing right there?
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is cool. But the problem I ran into it is that I realized when I print it out, it's just like a gray smudge because I have a laser printer at home. I don't want to use the color. So that's my personal preference of why I don't like using the highlighter tool. I like to actually change the text color because I find it easier to actually see. And I actually learned this from a friend of mine, like called Vernon. He was my classmate here, but it's just personal preference, like on mine. But if you want to like actually highlight it, you can. And that's just under the font. And then that's the text color. And I didn't put this in my setup document because I just don't like doing it that way. But if you choose to do it that way, that's perfectly fine. But the user reference guide, not the setup doc, that was my mistake. But basically, under the font group, you can go to DA, which is font color. And then you have all these options to choose from. And if you want more options, you can go here But I'm gonna go back because we're not gonna dive too deep into it. So under here, you click the drop down, which is the A school line. So you can do automatic, which is black. You can just have all these options to pick from, which is very useful to have. So I'm gonna choose blue. And as you can see here, it makes it blue, or you can change it to home. I'm just going on the home tab once again, and then I'm changing it to, let's say, green, and then it changes it to green. And it's just very useful to have, just changing it that way. And then if you have to print it to black and white, it doesn't have like a gray smudge on it. And then I am going to be going over how to share this document, because you might be wondering, hey, what if I want to share this document with someone? We will now be going over that. So sharing the document will allow people to make edits, which is very useful to see things if you miss, and we'll be going over comments, because you might be wondering, hey, I don't want them to actually change the document. I just want them to make comments, which I'll be going over comments in just one moment. So I'm going to be going over how to share the document. So to share the document, we will be going share. And I just want you to follow along. You won't actually share this document, but I will. And I will actually have you create a comment. Okay? So to do this, you go to the upper right, which is share. You go to manage access, which is the wheel. Once you click that, this window will pop up called manage access. And then from there, you will click this button right here, share. And then from here, you can either give them their email, or you can give them a link. And then I'm just going to talk about this really quick. So this right here means they can only view it. They cannot edit the document. But if I want them to like edit it, I will click the pencil right there. So now they can edit it, so that way they can make changes if they wanted to. And then I am going to share this, which you don't have to share yours, but I'm going to put it in the chat so that way you can share it. But before I do that, I'm going to go to link settings, which is this wheel right here. I copy link. And then I will be clicking anyone, so that this does not require a sign in. So anyone who has this link can edit this document. And then I will apply it by clicking this blue apply button. Yeah. So now after we did that, I will copy the link. Then I am going to send that link in the chat so you can view it. And then once you have a moment, you can click on that. But it's
really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very
I
powerful.
followed along, but I just got, but no words.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
Mhm.
It's really powerful. I had a lot
It
of
is,
fun.
yep. I like links, they're fun.
Yeah, the links.
People don't think about it.
Links are very useful. But yeah, I'm gonna be going over creating comments, and then I'll have you create a comment yourself. Okay, you're here. Awesome. And as you can see there, when I go over your name, I can see your name right there, Thompson Paul. If you want to edit, you can. It doesn't matter, because this is just a practice document. But basically, yeah, you can see people who document it, and up here, oops, over here on the right, I can see you, Thompson Paul, on page 1. Hi. Yeah, and then we'll just be over creating comments. So if someone shares it and then they don't want you to actually do this, so I'm just gonna be going to quick, highlight it. And under the insert tab, which I'm gonna have you follow along, because I'm gonna make a comment on this. Go to the insert tab, and then under right here, comment is where you click. And over here, a window will pop up, which is my full name because it's my Western. And then I'm gonna do is a link. Then I am going to press this blue button, which will post the comment. And then as you can see here, it highlights it, so that way I can see a comment there. So if you want to do that, and then feel free. It doesn't have to be a lengthy sentence. It just can be whatever you want. And then if you need help too, just let me know. And just do a thumbs up once you have it done. All right.
So cool, isn't it? Like I can make comments on here and everything.
Yeah, I love this. And then I
Does it
believe
make
the
it-
reason why I'm not seeing a comment right now is just because it's syncing. Because I
Doesn't
had
sync properly all the time. I'm trying to do it again here, but it would work.
no, it doesnn't sync properly all the time. It just depends on what's going on. Because I learned from my previous training session that it's just like a syncing issue. But I just wanted you to be able to like edit the document, and then for some reason the comment's not working. It's probably just a syncing issue, which happens. And the reason why I had it saved to OneDrive instead of the desktop is because OneDrive, you can share the document and people can edit it. But on your desktop, you can like send the document, then you'd have to download that document again to like see their edits. You can't just edit it based off of what they have. It's just useful to use the cloud that way, which is OneDrive. And then now we are going to be printing to PDF, but before that, I'm gonna actually be hiding the comments. It might look a little goofy because I have all these like links and stuff, but that's all right. We're just doing this for training purposes, but I just want to show you how to hide the comments first. So to hide the comments, we'll be going on to review. And as you can see here, it says show comments. Oh wait, not show comments. That was my mistake. So this is how you can make comments. You can like cycle through comments and stuff like that. Got a little ahead of myself.
Kind of like have a window within a window right now. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
You can make a comment too, just 1 second.
It's all right.
Oh, you hid the comments, didn't you?
Yeah.
I can make a comment now.
And yeah. Were you able to make one?
Yeah, I did. May not show right away.
Yeah, it's just like a syncing issue right now. But you can make comments this way and then you can review it. Or you can like download it too, make comments and then send it back. And then they can see the comments and then they can just make it based off the comments. So like, yeah, but like I'm gonna hide the comments for now. And then to do that, you would go under the insert. Wait one sec. You would go under review. Actually, I was in the wrong spot. Sorry about that. But basically, you go under the review tab, and under here in markup, you would hit original, and then now it's going to hide all those comments.
Ooh, I remember learning this before in the past.
But yeah, this is very useful because now we're going to be printing a PDF because you don't want to see all those comments in there. It just makes it look messy, and yeah. And then to print to PDF, what you're going to do is go to File. And we're gonna go, well, there's two ways to do this. I'm gonna be going the way in my user reference guide. So to do this, you go to save usually it would be save as, but since I'm already saved it, it's gonna say save copy over here. So under we can either save it to OneDrive or your desktop. Go to preference.
What desktop? That's where I'm gonna save it.
Desktop. Yeah, so before I do that, I'm gonna be changing it to PDF. So under here, the Word document, you are gonna be clicking PDF. He's right here. And then to save it to your desktop instead of your OneDrive, you would actually hit Browse. And then I'm gonna be clicking desktop because it's gonna go to your OneDrive. And then you can either save it in a folder or you can save it in a folder wherever you want, but since I'm just gonna do it for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna be saving on my desktop, so I'm gonna hit save. And then now this will pop up. It'll show that it is saved as a PDF, and I will show you it too. And as you can see here, I got guide PDF right there. And yeah, that's what I have right now. Any questions? And then at the end, I will give you an exit survey.
So do you think that this will work well in multiple jobs, potentially with like a nursing job, like a medical doctor job, like to classify things and document them?
Yeah, this will definitely be very handy because, for example, when I go back to where is it? This, like in programming, you have to be so specific. If you're one keystroke off, then you won't be, you will either things will break and then it just won't work. So it'll be very useful in nursing, things where you have to be exact, but it all depends on how good you are at taking notes. And then if you have trouble taking notes, you can always share it too. People can make comments on it. And yeah, it's just very powerful tool to have. I am going to be sharing my exit survey too, so just give me one moment.
Probably not gonna give feedback, because I didn't give any of the feedback, so.
That's all right. I just want practice to know.
It's just hard when people don't show up.
Yeah,
It happens year to year. You'd see that happening, couldn't you?
yeah.
Year to year.
And
It's free.
yeah, and then I posted it and yeah, that I'm gonna end the session now. So any questions or
Nope.
how do I save the recording by the way?
You would have to end it if you go into those three dots. Remember I said those three dots, the ones way on the other side? Not those ones, but on the
Oh,
other side,
okay.
like those there. You click on record, then you can stop recording.
Stop recording a transcription.
Mhm.